welcome to No BS Ted. Ted, do you think the 49ers are going to continue this streak against the Rams this Sunday?
No, I do not.
What is up, everybody? We are back. It's No BS Ted. I'm Ryan, obviously from No Border Sports, and we got Ted from Ted Talks Ball in the house. What up, Ted?
Not much, Ryan. How you doing, bud?
Ah, great. Not as great as you though. You're on vacation in an island, and
Yes.
I'm in cold ass Washington.
Ah, man, sorry to hear it. The weather is nice, but I will say I'd rather be home where it's colder.
You know how I got through that?
How's that?
I just didn't wake up.
There you go.
I don't know. Like, my ex was so mad at me, and I'm like, I don't hear it. I don't hear it. I don't wake up. When I wake up, she's already got him or got her. And like, I'm asking, do you want me to get her? And she's like, no. And I'm like, okay. All right. Well, night. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I was like, you can't just be like, no. You got to tell me, yes, I want you to take her. You can't do this no and make me want to do anything. It's 3:00 in the morning. You know what I mean? Like, and I very rarely ever woke up to that stuff. So, yeah.
Yeah, I'll say the same for myself. I definitely, it's rare when I wake up in the middle of the night. That's for sure.
Yeah, and it's not planned whatsoever. I believe everything should be 50-50. Like, I never shied away from doing a diaper or anything like that. Like, that's not worried about that type of stuff. It's just how it is. Let's give a shout out to the chat. We got Bebop Jones in the house. What up, Bebop?
What's up, Bebop?
We got Dawn Dodson in the house. What up, Dawn? She says, hello, Ryan and Ted.
Howdy.
We got ourselves a show ahead. Oh, we got Crazy Juice in the house. What up, Crazy Juice? Everybody's starting to trickle in. Here we go. Anybody in the chat, please let me know your favorite moment of this last week's game. Please let me know that, because I kind of wanted to kind of see, because when I watched the game, because I wasn't able to watch the game live because it blacked out in my area. I had to go back and rewatch it, and there was some high points, like, you know, the touchdown to Debo, or touchdown to Brandon Ayuk, the big long pass to Brandon Ayuk. But barring those couple of plays, there wasn't really anything that really stood out to me in that game. And you might bring something up and I might remember it, but I watching the game once, which I like to go back multiple times and watch it. Watching the game once, there wasn't really much that stood out to me. Like, I was like, hey, this was a great performance by us.
Yeah, I mean, I'll say that I expected us to run it up a lot more than we did. Things okay on your end. I will say that I wasn't super surprised to see the Commanders' offense do well. They have a decent offense. They have good weapons. Quarterback is probably their weak spot. But I was surprised to see our offense struggle for a while, especially with they're having a lot of their secondary injured, and their defense just has not been good all year, even when they've been healthy. So I expected us to roll them up a lot better than we did.
Yeah. It seemed to me like their defensive front was doing a great job most of the game. And that kind of neutralized us. Not that we were taken out of the game, but it kind of just stopped us from being able to do much. Like, Christian McCaffrey was fighting for like 2 and 3 yards like half the game.
Yeah, Deron Payne's a really good defensive tackle.
He is very good.
And
he's got really
so
good technique against the zone run too. I noticed when it was the off season, we were looking for a defensive tackle. Javon Hargrave wasn't on my radar. I looked at Deron Payne, and immediately off the tape, I was like, this guy's great against the zone. He's got great technique against the zone. He gets in between people really well, and it's a good he's a good guy to have, and we run a lot of zones, so he's gonna be an issue. He blew up a screen pass. Just smart, just being smart, keeping his head up, looking around. He noticed we were doing a screenplay and totally blew it up. So I think that was our big issue, is their defensive line, how well they were able to work. And then I believe they were doing something in the secondary to at least kind of get Brock off his mark for a little bit.
Yeah, he wasn't as comfortable as I expected him to look.
But it
especially
wasn't bad.
Considering no, I wouldn't say bad, just not as good as it probably should have looked. Especially considering they were missing Benjamin St-Juste on one corner and Kendall Fuller on the other corner. They were also Tariq Castro-Fields went out early in the game, who was filling in also. And if you remember, he was a 6th-round draft pick by us not too long ago. And I think we let him go in order to keep, was it Jimmy G last year, the year before last? I think that was the case. So that was kind of interesting to see Tariq Castro-Fields' name again.
I was muted. Gosh, it was just so weird, just not having really much to go back and think about. And, what stood out to you during the game? You had to watch it later, didn't you?
No, I watched it on time.
Oh, okay.
It was 8 a.m. in the morning here, though, so it was nice and early. But no, I got everything working. I actually even got to watch the Ravens game pretty much on time. I was able to stream it. I have Xfinity as my cable provider. And so I was able to stream it live onto my phone as we were picking up our luggage and getting our rental car and driving and getting checked in to the condo that we stay in. I kind of wish I had missed the game, honestly. Not really. I mean, I always want to see what happened, even if it was ugly like it was. Sorry, what was that?
Oh, I didn't say anything.
Oh, you know what happened? I tapped my ear, and it unmuted my YouTube channel, so I heard you talking because I had a video up of us. Live.
No.
Anyway, my apologies there. Yeah, so as far as the Commanders game, the takeaways I had from it were, Commanders offense is decent. We finally got some stops on them late in the game. Yeah, Scary Terry is really good. So is Curtis Samuel. And both of their running backs, Gibson and Robinson, are both really good. Their O-line is decent. So they just need someone better than Howell to make that go. I think that's why they wanted to put in Jacoby Brissett. I don't know that he's a lot better, but clearly the Commanders thought that he was a step up over Sam Howell.
Yeah. There's been a lot of teams that are in situations like that. Like, who was it? The Vikings. They started out with one guy, and then they were like, we're down some points, so we're putting in Nick Mullins because we think his gunslinger abilities kind of got to gives us a better edge to win the game at this moment. We can, we can lose it even more, or we can have a chance to win it with him. The other guy is just too conservative, and he didn't get enough points on the board at this point. So his style's not going to get much more on there.
Yeah, I was like, good luck with that, folks. When I saw that, I was watching that one live when I saw that announcement. And I just thought to myself, you guys are cooked if you're relying on Nick Mullins to be the answer. That guy had so many picks and pick sixes and fumbles and fumble sixes for us in 2020.
The guy is not scared. He's got confidence, which is good. You have to have confidence, but at the same, it's like,
but his brain writes checks that his body can't cash. So,
well, some of these, first thing you want to say, what up, Randy Daytona? Appreciate you stopping
Elite. In. Don't forget the Elite. He was unhappy when I titled my show "R.I.P. to MV Purdy" last week. He didn't like that. Randy, I don't, make the news. I just report it, right? So, I wasn't the one who had dropped Brock Purdy out of every MVP list. That just happened. So, I was just commenting on it, not like wishing it to happen or anything like that. Yeah. I actually wore a Purdy jersey a little bit before I left to come on vacation. One of my viewers got me one, and I actually wore it a few times. I think after our stream. I don't think you got to see it.
He says, I'm certainly not going to speak for all the voters. I don't think the party's out of it at all. Purdy's out of it. I got you.
My voice to text there.
Yeah. Well, we were talking about like Nick Mullins and him throwing like that. Brock Purdy, like he'll throw these cross-body shots across the field.
He had a couple in the Commanders game.
Yes. And it's like, you can't tell him, hey, you need to do this, this, and this, because what happens if he just decides he can't do that ever because you said it's scary and it's bad, and then we stall out on drives and lose games because of it. You know what I'm saying? Or then you go all extra protective. You're like, Brock, you need to, do this, this, and this before you throw that, because it's so then it slows him up, which he makes a bad pass or has to throw it out of bounds or get sacked, and then the drive stalls out. So it's like, you kind of just got to let them do their style and just figure out how to get them to not throw interceptions, I guess. You know what I mean? Because once you start putting, what would you call it? Start putting like tying their hand behind their back, putting restrictions on them, it's going to slow them down. And when you slow them down, they're not going to be as effective, especially in this offense or this defense, because we play fast on defense too. So
we do indeed. No doubt about it. Yeah. And in our D, we were still missing some tackles, I noticed, in that game. But maybe not as bad as, some more recent weeks. So hopefully we can continue getting a little more stout with that. But, we're definitely still missing Armstead there in the middle.
Yes. Let's talk about that here in a second. We got James Durnall in the house. He says, hello, my sexy bunch of number 1 seed cabbage lickers. Yes, I've been known to eat a little bit of cabbage there.
I think it was cabbage face spud lickers, if I'm not mistaken.
Edgar,
I didn't even read it. No, it's just cabbage lickers. My bad.
Yeah,
my bad.
I read it. I read it, Ted.
Yeah, I didn't read it.
You didn't have to read it because I
tried to do the Cliff Notes of my memory, and of course he threw me a curveball. So thanks, James. Thanks, bud. Making me look bad here.
Purdy learned from last week and high lobbed it to Juice when when Den tried to pick him off.
The DN.
The DN. Oh, yeah. And then Juice, man, he almost had a great play too. I was so sad when that ball was incomplete.
Yeah.
Can't remember what happened, but I was
right there on the goal line. It was going to probably be down
yes,
like on the
a half a yard short.
Inch.
Yeah.
But it was
they never
was
really
a hell
do
of a play.
inch line. They never do the inch line. They usually put you on the half yard line, and that's as close as you really ever get.
That's what it looked like.
Unless you've taken a couple of tries and they've got like footage of you being in a certain spot, then yeah, you know what I mean. Where the coach is like, "Why is this ball? Look where it is." You know what I mean? Like, it's. I was told it's not inch ball, it's football when I was learning how to be a ref.
That's not what she said.
Well, she wants it by the foot too. Like if she tells you she doesn't, Ted, she's lying to you. Okay,
that's a fact.
Just like their foot, their fruit, they want it by the foot.
Randy, I got some bad news for you, buddy. Purdy is not winning the MVP. I'm just going to let you know it's going to Lamar, and it's because Lamar outplayed Purdy head to head with less weapons. And he's been playing better since too. The next week he had like five TDs the next week. And now if there was any chance of Purdy doing it, he would have to play this week. And I guarantee you Purdy won't play more than a quarter to a half of this Rams game.
Yeah, I don't know.
I think Kyle's going to treat it like a preseason game.
I don't.
I mean, that's what I would recommend Kyle do. Whether he follows my instructions, that remains to be seen.
I don't think he is. I think they're sitting anybody who they're sitting CMC.
Yeah.
Even though, tell you what, we'll get into this, but I think CMC could have gone back in the game. I think he could play this game, no problem. I think they just shut him down just to, oh, we got a super sticker in the house. What up?
Very guard. Very, very generous.
Appreciate you. But I think he could have gone. I think he still could go. Him walking up and down the sidelines to me showed me that he could go. Because if you're not going, you're not walking up and down the sidelines because your calf hurts. So you're not keeping it hurting. I think he got shut down. I just think we're going to go without Christian McCaffrey. We'll probably go without, let's see, who's the two people in concussion protocol? Juwan Jennings and
I think it was Tarvarius Moore. It said Moore, and that's only Moore.
Yes. Yes, Tarvarius Moore.
I think we re-signed him recently.
And as far as that goes, I think that's how we're going to do it. I think Elijah Mitchell's going to be the number one back. G.P. Mason's going to be number two. Ronnie Bell will take Juwan Jennings' spot like he has been. Yeah.
And Ray might be back to relieve Ronnie Bell.
Which I just want Ray to fair catch him. Fair catch these bad boys until the Super Bowl, bro. Okay? I don't care about returns. Just fair catch them. Make sure you catch them. Or if they're funky, let them go behind you. Because I don't want any replays of Kyle Williams. None of that. Like, at least let us get to the Super Bowl before we start getting fancy and taking risks. Our special teams aren't what they should be, I don't think. In fact, I've been asking for us to do a fake forever. And the only time we get to do it is when Mitch is like, I think I can get this. Which I so love. Like, fuck it. What does Kyle know? Oh.
Randy.
Whoops.
Our line isn't that bad, honestly. When we have Aaron Banks and we have Feliciano in there, and when we have McKivitt's playing right tackle instead of left tackle. Our line's pretty decent, actually. And when we're not playing the Ravens D line, who's arguably the best D line in football, they have the most sacks. They're ferocious. So, but Lamar, he has no weapons. Come on, Mark Andrews went down. He's got Isaiah, what's his name? Likely. And
What is this?
Zay Flowers.
Yeah, those are guys.
One's a rookie,
Odell
one's a
Beckham
second-year
Jr.
player.
Yeah, but those guys are making catches. They're doing stuff. What? Odell Beckham Jr., yeah, he might be slow, but he's still got hands. To say he has no weapons is BS. He's got guys. Look, this is the thing. If you're in the NFL as a wide receiver, do you really have crappy hands? No. Right? Now, may you have troubles getting open? Okay, I'll give you that. But the guys you just mentioned don't have problems getting open. Do they?
Look, there are guys, they're weapons. If you're trying to compare them to ours are the
I'm
best.
Not trying to compare him. To say he's got no weapons.
Everybody got 1,000 yards. You got 1,000. You got 1,000. You got 1,000.
If you're a good, competent quarterback, you can
CMC
work with.
got 2,000.
You can work with guys. If you're a good quarterback, you can work with guys.
I'm not saying you can't work with them.
Because, hey,
I'm just saying. How do you think Brock would do if he was on the Ravens? And how do you think Lamar would do if he was on our team?
I don't know. I haven't watched
Lamar. I think Lamar would do at least as well as Purdy on our team.
He could, or he might not.
Plus the running.
Look, one thing that Purdy's got great is he is great at that crossing route.
Mm-hmm.
It's like money. And he throws it like consistent every single time.
I don't think Brock would do well on the Ravens.
I don't know if he would. I'm not saying that he would or he wouldn't. What I'm saying is that all Brock's traits are set to make him like the best quarterback for this system. Not to say that Lamar Jackson couldn't come in and they couldn't do some of them Trey Lance plays. You know what I mean? Like
best quarterback that we've seen in this system.
Right.
I don't think he's the best quarterback for the system.
Well, yeah.
I don't think there aren't others that could do better. I do think there are others.
Like Aaron Rodgers would be amazing in this system, I have a feeling.
Absolutely.
Because I think he can process everything that you're trying to go for, and he can make all the throws. So once he figures out what's going on, and he figures out what the leverage is, then all he has to do is make a perfect throw, which he's really good at doing. So, yes, there's probably better quarterbacks, but what I'm saying is I think there's quarterbacks who are on the top 10 that wouldn't necessarily be what they are to their team or to our team.
Yeah. I think there's a little bit of that for sure. I mean, the Brock definitely throws with anticipation.
Ask Jalen Hurts to do what Brock Purdy does in this system.
Yeah,
I don't know. Sure. I don't know if he's got it. When
I was doing the
arm talent,
the behind enemy line shows before the Eagles game, I was saying that I thought Jalen Hurts is better than Brock, but he sure hasn't looked like it recently. So
Jalen Hurts as an athlete, as an athletic quarterback, I think would be better in any system more so than Brock would be. Because he got the deep arm, he's got everything. What Brock has is he's good at being consistently accurate at certain things. You know what I mean? And that's what we need. He's accurate. He trusts the system. He's thrown with anticipation. You know what I mean? And he's putting the ball right on players once they're out of their break, which is exactly what they're liking. So I think there's a case to be made that Jalen Hurts playing this exact same scheme wouldn't be wouldn't be 2/3 the quarterback that Brock is in the scheme. Not to
I
say
just
that
think
you couldn't change a scheme up.
change the
And
scheme. That's what I was going to say, for more running. But yeah,
yeah,
I mean, Brock has looked a lot better than Jalen since we played the Eagles. That's for sure.
oh yeah. I don't know. It seems like there's something brewing over there, and I'm kind of sad for that.
Really?
What we got going on here?
Not me. I couldn't be.
Well,
happier.
I don't like to see. I don't like to see toxicity in locker rooms, and I don't know if there is that, but if there's any place where toxicity would start, Philadelphia is definitely a
Say
city
couldn't
for
happen to a
toxicity in the
more
locker room.
toxic fan base. Awful
Gosh.
people there. Terrible. Randy says,
Rick Diaz, shout out Rick Diaz. What's up?
Randy says he clipped me, and Lombardi said he would forward it to the Ravens locker room. LOL. I guess for locker room material.
Oh,
I mean, I think Ravens fans would tell you that they don't have good weapons. The Ravens fans, Darwin's Raven was saying that the week of the show, and same with I'm blanking on his name now. Matt Triplet. I'm blanking on his name. The other Ravens fan that I had on behind enemy lines before the game. But not, they were all saying basically like Isaiah Likely's good, but he's no Mark Andrews, and that they've been struggling at wide receiver. I mean, Zay Flowers is good for a rookie, but he's no Puka Nacua, that's for sure.
So. Okay, but he's not a trash wide receiver either.
No, not at all. I'm not saying trash.
I don't think there's right, but I'm not. There's not like a huge. There's not like a huge gap between him and Puka Nacua.
Matt Trigger. There is yards wise, receiving yards wise. There is.
And why is that? Because why? Because Cooper Kupp was down.
Better quarter. Yeah.
Cooper Kupp was down, and Puka was their whole offense for the first 5 weeks of the season, and now with Cooper Kupp being back, when I've watched games, Cooper Kupp doesn't seem like he's the same guy right now. I don't know if he's like 100%. Like he might be back and able to play, but I don't know either if there's still pain or if he's just not confident on the knee, with the knee. You know what I mean? Right? It was his knee, right? Or was it his Achilles? I think it was a knee.
I think it was his knee.
Yeah. So to me, that's what I'm seeing out of him. So even when he got back, who's the guy you going to? You can't always go to a non-confident Cooper Kupp when you got a little Puka Nacua running around handling business.
That's right.
That's the way I see it.
I hear you 100%. I think also Kyron Williams has been doing really well, which is taking some of the stress off of Kupp too. So he's able to just sort of work his way back in slowly.
Saying, imagine paying Hurts all that money for 1 year success. Well,
the thing about that contract is, though, his cap hit doesn't become onerous or noticeable until like 2026 or 2027 or something ridiculous like that. So they still have plenty of years of competing with Hurts as long as he can get back a little bit to where he was, if you will.
And to
because
say that
let's face it, like what's bugging the Eagles, Hurts has not been great, but he hasn't been terrible. It's really been their defense. I just saw a stat. I don't know if you saw this, but there was a meme on the timeline today where they were showing the Eagles defense since, I don't know, maybe since they played us. I forget what the marker in time was, but they were basically 35th in yards, 35th in scoring, and 31st. but in 3 different stats, which is pretty huge. So you know that's what's wrong with the Eagles is their defense. Specifically, Slay went down. Avonte Maddox was injured. He came back, and I think he got re-injured again. I saw that after the last game, he was going for X-rays. So, and then they'd already been missing a bunch of guys on defense. They kind of lost a guy on each level with Hargrave coming to us, TJ Edwards going to the Browns, and he's killing it for them. And then CJ Gardner-Johnson going to the Lions. And he was doing well for them early on, but then he got injured. So I think he's still out as well. He might be back.
And not to mention they kept Bradbury thinking that was a good thing.
Okay, I found it. It was Eric Crocker posted it up. It says Eagles defense since week 12 and points per game 31.5, rank 31st. Yards per game 398.8. So basically 400 yards a game given up. NFL rank 31st. Third down percentage 52% converted. NFL rank 31st. So I would say that's probably more of the Eagles' problem than Jalen Hurts. I think Jalen Hurts then tries to compensate for that, and he's going to have more turnovers. And when you're pressing, you look worse. I'm not going to totally absolve him and just say like that's all it is their defense, but probably more defense than Hurts would be my assessment.
Yeah. Well, especially like you were saying, if he feels that he's got to put it on his back because the other team defense has got a good scheme against them and his weapons can't get open. So he feels like he's got to do things or sneak the ball in there or run the ball, all this type of stuff.
Goddard was injured there for a while too, which never helps because he's sort of George Kittle Jr., if you will.
Yeah.
He's definitely the second best blocking and catching tight end in the NFL. And should we talk a little bit about George Kittle?
Yeah, sure. What do you want to bring up?
Well, just that he's like number one tight end in receiving yards. He's number one in yards per route run. He's number one, and he's the number one tight end, man. Like, just like I've been saying for years, like, Kittle is the GOATEs. I've been saying it as the day is long for years upon years. I've been saying that Kelsey's only better because you have Mahomes throwing him the ball in a pass-happy scheme. And look at this. And our scheme is still run first, and Kittle's doing it because I said all Kittle needs is a real QB. And I said that about our other weapons too. Look at Ayuk, 1,300 yards. Look at, Debo's doing well. So, and obviously CMC catching a lot of balls from Brock as well. And so I just feel very vindicated that I said all along that all Kittle needed was a real QB. Now we got a real QB, and he's absolutely tearing the league apart. And that's not even counting his blocking.
Yeah.
Which he's always been the best at that.
Even though, like, what was it? Not his rookie season, but his year after his rookie season, he had the most yards as a tight end.
2018. He had 1,397 yards, something like that. A lot of it was from Nick Mullen, actually.
Now, another thing.
Some was from CJ, some was from Jimmy.
Kels has been a tight end for a while now, though, and it wasn't always with Mahomes.
Right. He had Alex Smith for 3 or 4 or 5 years before Mahomes took over.
Yeah.
But if you remember Alex Smith, he really loved to feed tight ends. So he was not a great quarterback, but he was a great quarterback if you were a tight end. And, Kelsey had, he had Alex Smith and he had Mahomes. But if you compare that to Hoyer, CJ Beathard, Mullins, Jimmy G, a little bit of Trey, and let's face it, Trey was never great. He never lived up to what a lot of us thought he could be here, or what a lot of us think he may end up being somewhere else someday. and then we saw it last year with Purdy towards the end of the year where he got like 6 TDs in 4 games or something crazy like that. At the end of the
TDs in
season,
4 games. That's
I
crazy.
think it was 7 in 6 and 4 and 7 in the last 6 games. But like I know it was 7 in 6 games, and that was more TDs than he had ever scored in a 16 or 17 game season. 5 consecutive seasons he had never scored more than 6 TDs, and he gets 7 in 6 games with Purdy. I'm like, there's your little glimpse of what Kittle could be with the real QB. And of course, I in the offseason felt like, yeah, Purdy can, hit him in the 10 to 19 yard routes and stuff like that and the short stuff. But I never really thought that Purdy would be able to unlock the big key, which to all of our guys, which is the deep threat. And he's really done that. So congrats to Purdy. He's proved me wrong. I mean, I will say, I don't think I was wrong in what I said about him in the offseason, but obviously what he's done this season has proved that wrong since. And
Yes.
I've adjusted my opinions accordingly since. And, this week I've got him back up to 3 to 6 in the league. I don't know that my rankings will change again since this is sort of like the end of the season. And I don't think he'll play enough meaningful snaps against the Rams to move himself up or down from that ranking. So that might be it for the 2023 campaign.
What would he have to put up in the first half of the game to make you move him up in ranking?
I mean, another pass like he threw to Ayuk.
Four tutties, 250 yards in the first half.
No, not at all. It's like one really wild play is about all it takes for me. And no F ups, right? No F ups and one really wild play. Yeah, no, that's sort of what it is for me. His 230 yards, 2 TDs,
one wild play a game. He's going to give you one of them. Why do you like? Oh, I just need to see this one. Like we know we're going to get it
with no F ups. So that's the difference. So no. I mean, I mean, I'd like to see 2 in a game, but I'd say 1.5. So yeah.
1.5.
Just another one like that past Ayuk. That was it. Something like that.
That's all you need.
You're like, no. Yes.
He throws those to Ayuk consistently. That's what I'm saying. Like that's what you need. The one thing we can bank on us seeing.
No, but it wasn't just the throw. I mean, it was the, escaping pressure, going all the way back to the right, throwing against his body.
We saw 2 of those. We saw 2 of those, if I'm not mistaken, on that drive. One of them was a touchdown. They both were Ayuk.
There was a short one. Yeah, there was a short one too before.
Well, I don't know if it was short. It was another big chunk play. And they got that one off, and I believe he was scrambling there too. I'm not sure. Don't quote me. I might be totally lying to make this situation. But there was another one of them plays you're like, hell yeah. And I just thought it was funny that the box that needs to be checked is like one of those. Like if you could go down and bet on that, I would be betting on that. Like Brandon Ayuk and Purdy are going to connect for a play that everybody's going to be like, damn.
I just don't think they're going to get enough opportunities against the Rams. I think it's going to be like I said, a quarter or a half at the most that they're going to play the starters, especially the key starters like Purdy and Trent Williams. Just whatever you do, Kyle, don't take Trent Williams out before you take Purdy out. Okay, please?
Yes.
Please don't do that again.
Yes.
Yeah. I know Trent was supposedly injured with the groin. He was injured with the groin, but
Trent wasn't. Well, yes and no.
If you're gonna pull Trent Williams, pull Purdy too. Just don't.
He's another one who could go. He's another one who could go, but they're like, no, we'll chill him out because we don't want to get any worse. It's just I don't know. The more you can give him, but he doesn't.
Well, he had no injury designation before the game against the Commanders. But I will say, and I'm not the one who said it. I did see, I think it was probably on Twitter, some people saying that Trent Williams didn't look like himself early in the game. He definitely missed a few blocks, and Just didn't look like his dominant self early in the Commanders game.
Yeah.
And maybe that's why the offense didn't look like itself early in the game.
I'll have to go back and look at it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You'll see him like standing there, and like the guy he was supposed to block, like got around him and kind of, ended up influencing the play, where normally, he's just like gonna be like a total eclipse, and you're not going to see the guy that he's responsible for.
Yeah, you could just automatically assume that guy's taken out of the play.
Usually, yeah.
Usually.
How are you feeling about the playoffs? Any teams you want to face or don't want to face?
I don't want to face the Rams.
I don't either.
They're young, so they don't.
You know who else I don't want to face?
Who?
The Packers.
Oh, I don't give a shit about them.
I feel like if they can get healthy, they've been pretty banged up. If they can get healthy, they're a team that Jordan Love is playing pretty well, actually.
He's playing all right, but I don't think he's playing good enough to go up against our secondary without giving up a couple.
Well, that was another meme that I saw today or recently. Yep, here it is. Leaders in passing TDs this season. This is on PFF. Dak Prescott, 32 touchdowns. No surprise. Brock Purdy, 31 touchdowns. No surprise. Jordan Love, 30 touchdowns. I was pretty freaking surprised that he is within one of Brock and two of Dak and top 3 in the NFL. And they have, and here's the deal with the Packers. Here's why I worry about the Packers, because they have Christian, so Wilkins, what's the guy's name who was the NDSU wide receiver? Christian something or other.
Oh, yeah, Trey's guy.
Christian Watson. Christian Watson. And they've got Romeo Doubs, who's real good. And they've got some decent tight ends. And they've been kind of getting by with this all season. But now all of a sudden they got Aaron Jones back. And Aaron Jones, as we all know, is like, he's like Christian McCaffrey. I mean, he's not.
Yeah.
Not Christian McCaffrey.
We've dealt with him before.
Combo. He's in that combo.
We've dealt with him before, and we've stuffed him before. But also, you have to think about something. Okay, Brock Purdy's there with 31 touchdowns, right?
Right.
Brock Purdy is also one of the quarterbacks that has like the least attempts.
Right. Oh, I mean,
who has his, like, we don't pass as much as the rest of the league.
No, yeah, we're run first. That's why I always said,
well, we're not really run
Kittle
first.
Would kill it with a great QB like Mahomes.
We're not really run first anymore because we do pass more than we run on an average.
But we still run a lot more than most.
Run a lot more than the average league, yes. Yeah, so think about Brock Purdy is up there with Dak Prescott, who they definitely pass a lot, right? So his output is up there with that. And you got to add the 49ers run game on top of Purdy, because that's our offense, right? Now, do that, Jordan Love, who a lot of their offense is Jordan Love, and then add the rest of their run game onto that. I don't think it compares. And I think our defense would handle them. Don't get me wrong. They got, like, Christian Watson is a threat. He can get down the field really freaking quick.
Yeah.
Nasty. He can come down with the ball, all that. But we've seen guys like that, and we put them in a box, and we can handle them. I'm not worried about them.
All right.
I'm more worried
I'm
about.
just saying. I'm just saying. I'm not really that worried about the Eagles. I'm not that worried about the Cowboys. I'm not that worried about the Lions. And so then for me, Rams number 1, and maybe surprise shocker, Packers number 2.
We're all sitting here worried about the 7th and 6th seeds.
So I well, of course, and that's who we're most likely to face too, being the number 1 seed. They're the most likely to fall to us. All right, so we talked about pass attempts. NFL Rumors had a tweet where they were talking about the passing leaders right now in the NFL. Excuse me, it's about to sneeze, but I guess past me. So Tua Tagovailoa has 44.51 yards, leading the NFL. Purdy is number 2 in the NFL with 42.80. That surprised me. I knew he had set a record for Niners, but I didn't realize we were number 2 in the NFL for 2023. Goff is at 3 for 42.55. Prescott 42.37, number 4. Mahomes number 5, 41.83. Stafford 39.65. Josh Allen 39.47. Mayfield 39.07. CJ Stroud 38.44. And then here we go, Packers, Jordan Love 38.43. And then here we go, Hurts 38.03. I'll stop there. But I went ahead and I looked up the pass attempts for each of them. And so Tua has almost 100 more pass attempts. He has 90. No, he does. He has 91 more pass attempts at 533. Brock is the lowest on the list by far at 444. Brock is the only one below 500 at 444.
Oh, wow.
Goff 573. Dak 554. This is a surpriser. Mahomes 597. So he has the highest pass attempts on. Actually, that's not surprising, right? I was just saying Chiefs are the most pass happy team in the NFL. Why would I be surprised that he has the most of all these leaders? That shouldn't surprise me. But it surprised me that it was that much more. I mean, he's almost 50 more than Dak, and almost 30 more than Goff. Stafford 521, Josh Allen 541, Baker 534. So one of these is not like the others, not even close. So I was giving Brock some props there because I know part of it is the system, part of it is our weapons, but part of it is Brock. He's definitely the best that we've seen under Kyle, for sure, in San Francisco, and arguably better than Matt Ryan was 2016 MVP season.
I would say that our weapons is what gives him essentially all those yards with with having the little completions. Because
but it's not as much yak as we're used to. Like I used to say it was yak, and I can't say we're still leading the league in yak, but not by as much as you would think. I guess is sort of the best way to put it.
No,
not by as much as we used to.
Where they're receiving the ball is further down the field.
Yeah, because intermediate, like he always did, 10 to 19 yards, but now he's throwing the deep stuff and he's dotting it up.
But I think that just shows how that kind of shows the weapons there is his low attempts with his high yards. Now,
Crazy Juice is saying we're drinking. Crazy Juice is saying we're drinking crazy juice here. He says, I ain't worried about the Lambs and Packers.
Gotcha.
Are you saying we're drinking crazy juice? Crazy juice? Got some here.
We got Tommy Huxley in the house. What up, Tommy? Appreciate you stopping in, sir.
Tommy Huxley. That's executive chef Tommy Huxley to you, Ryan. How do you know?
Executive chef.
Yes. He got promoted last week. So I don't know if that was during our stream when that was announced. So since I thought I'd make sure. It was definitely one of my streams where he announced it, so I wanted to repeat it. Congratulations, Happy New Year, Tommy.
Now he's got
Happy Executive New Year. Yeah.
He's in charge of the specials now. We were making jokes about that. Something having to do with training hostesses the correct way. And
Oh boy. Yes. Okay. So it was on our stream then. Okay.
no, I was in the chat talking with Tommy.
Oh, okay. Okay.
I don't know.
So you were in there, you just weren't live with me when
I wasn't on the panel. I was in the chat,
That's right.
not the panel.
That's all right. It's all welcome.
Shoot,
one of them got spicy last week.
Oh yeah.
With well, yeah, there was drama. Remember? I guess I won't bring it up, but yeah,
yeah, that's not worried.
Somebody crossed a line that should never be crossed.
Oh yeah. Yeah, fun times.
And then play dumb, and then it's like, well, I guess it wasn't specifically with that, but he was like talking to me, and I was like, well, he's like he's trying to like say something about you and him, and I was like, dude, I had issues with you before.
Yeah,
you did stuff with Ryan, and he's like, what? I'm like, you don't know? He's like, no, I wouldn't have asked. I'm like, well, if you don't know, I'm not gonna bother with this, but yeah, it was pretty.
If you don't understand what's not cool.
Well, like he said, I think maybe he doesn't remember everything. I think he doesn't remember everything that he says in these things. Maybe some selective memory.
What up, 42 set hike in the house? He's 42 set hike is a Lions fan. So
right on.
We might be seeing them in the playoffs here.
Lions fans pretty bitter because they could have forced us to play the Rams for real this week, but they got hosed on a ineligible man call where they had announced it to the ref live, and apparently Dan Campbell had alerted the refs before the game to it as well, and somehow they still missed it, called the Lions, and handed the win to the Cowboys essentially.
Yeah, that was so Waruna called me up and was like, hey Ryan, did you see what happened in the Lions game? And I was like, no. And he explains it to me. He's like, get back to me on this. I need to know what happened or why. And I'm like, okay.
Why? Because somebody wanted the Cowboys to win. That's why. And, like I had a buddy who said, Ted, the NFL, it's not fixed. It's just facilitated. And, that's sort of an example of it. It's like, you could say, oh, never leave it up to the refs, never leave it to where one score or one call makes the difference. But let's face it, in most NFL games, especially between two good teams, it comes down to a player or two here or there.
Yes.
And so it's frustrating when it happens to you. And so, it's a bummer. It's too bad.
Also, as a fan, you feel really disappointed and sad for the players because they didn't get to actually play the game that they suited up to play for when certain things like that goes down. So yeah, stuff like that annoys me. I don't like the refs being in the game at all. I do think at certain times you have to throw that penalty. Like, I'm all for it if the wide receiver and the cornerback are going at each other down the field, like it's 50-50. That's fine. If it's one-sided, you got to throw that flag. I just wish they would let the booth do a little bit more, or kind of mix it up a little bit to where the guys on the field can ask for help and the guys in the booth can kind of give their help a little bit more. What's up? We going to be shutting it down here in a second?
No. I mean, before too long, but no, I just got a call, and I do need to go, and we're out of baby formula for the little guy, so I definitely need to go sooner rather than later, but not right this second.
Yeah, it's 5:15 anyways. Might as well just start to wrap it up anyways. Go ahead and do your little promo ad.
My spiel. All right. Well, I have a sponsor. It's called the Travelstead Group. That's the TTG that you see there in the corner, that logo. They are a retail and logistics hospitality company. So they do transportation and warehousing for brick and mortar. They do FFE, which is fixed furniture and equipment. They do OSE, which is operating supplies and equipment. They do new store openings, rollouts, relocations, decommissions from the first mile to the final mile and everywhere in between. Travelstead has you covered. Let them know they can help you via air, ocean, or land. Closed loop solutions for retail and hospitality. Nick and Henry are the go-to guys there. They are Ravens fans. They are out of Baltimore, so congratulate them on their big win. And they got their number one seed just like we did, and probably Lamar looking like the MVP. We'll see. But yeah, they have 100% US-based support. These are complex operations, so there's often fine-tuning. But sometimes there's even snafus. It's good to know when you pick up the phone, you won't end up in some call center overseas where they have no clue where you and your business do. And check out the description. Or the website, I should say, the link. It's in the description for the show. It's in my YouTube About page, my Twitter and X bio. You can find it on Instagram and Facebook if you follow me there. Click the link, watch the video, and just be sure you tell them Ted sent you. So thanks in advance, everybody, for your patronage with that. And thanks, Ryan, for letting me pay the bills. Thank you to the audience for your help. If you know anybody in retail and hospitality logistics, send them to TTG.
Send them to the TTG.
That's right.
All right. Well, with that, what do you got going on the rest of the week, Ted?
Not an enchilada. I fly back on Thursday. So I should have Ballin' with Bash and Ted on Friday at 3, assuming that everything's cool on his end. But yeah, so while I've been away, it's just been Aaron last week and you this week. I don't think I'll have a chance to hook up with Aaron tomorrow. And so just 2 streams for me while I was away, unfortunately. And also didn't write an article before the Commanders game. Just didn't really get much of a chance over here with all the little ones and family and stuff. But how about you, Ryan? What you got going on the rest of the week?
I got Bring the Heat tonight. And then we will have, I'm guessing we'll have The Rivalry with Joe Stevens tomorrow. We've been kind of having some scheduling difficulties. He just bought himself a new truck, and oh god, he spent $4,000 on like a $20,000 Dodge diesel 4-door, and
Nice.
so he's got it up and running and working. Man, what a deal there. But yeah, so we should be back to normal again this week. So other than that, yeah, check for things posted. I will be having a nightly show coming up here soon.
It's funny. Speaking of diesel and big trucks and stuff, there was this giant excursion. I don't know, whatever the biggest Ford SUV is. And it was like lifted with giant tires, and he pulls up with a big, you could hear his, big V8, V10, I don't know, whatever, massive American gas guzzling engine. And on the back, he has a sticker on the back window that says it's a hybrid. And I just love that. That was hilarious. So anyway.
Yeah.
Well, Ryan, thanks for getting together with me today. I'm glad we were able to make it happen. And I'll see you. We'll be back next Tuesday. I'll be back on Monday with I voted for Pedro as well. It's been a while since he and I have streamed, so it'll be good to see him.
Heck yeah. We'll be all ready and tuned in. And with that, let's go Niners. Let's beat them Rams. We out.
Niners.
Peace.